Happy holidays. It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Biajalu.
Excellent morning, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm doing amazing.
How's your weekend?
My weekend was good. It was a Christmas weekend, so I had my in-laws in the house. I invited a few friends over. I was basically hosting and hosting. But at the back of my mind, I knew that I had not submitted some of my assignments, and one of them had passed the deadline. So I had to quickly send my tutor an email that please, this is the ULITA. I don't know why people decided to give me this course during this period. Christmas, I should be largessing and here thinking about work. But yesterday, thankfully, I was able to take out time all day. I said I must finish. Like I will not have peace if I don't finish that work. So I stopped procrastinating. I was able to.
Interestingly, I have assignments to be that I totally forgot about. But just yesterday, I was going through my WhatsApp, the group, the class team.
And people said
submitted to January 30th and 2nd. I'm like, hey, Father, Lord Almighty, I started going to go and check which assignment do I have.
And it's a lot, essays and everything, writing, referencing.
Hiding, Nima.
I'm fine.
How was the journey down here?
Today, it was okay.
Maybe free, right?
Yeah.
I learned
Somebody
my
gave us a
lessons.
gift.
I'm always on hold of journey, but I want to say thank you to D-Board Stock.
Yeah.
D-Board Stores.
D-Board Stores.
Her name on Twitter, on
Instagram.
On Instagram is D-Board Stock.
Okay.
She got lots of goodies inside.
That's D-Board Stores, yes. Gift spa.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Don't break out the branded items, Auntie. But just thank you for the stores. We
branded
appreciate
items
Let's
inside.
keep it then.
But then again, my mother, Mrs. Remy Ogini, is Stockman's auntie.
She sent me the message. Oh, can you take my
her birthday.
That's I don't understand.
You know, that's the same shout that I have, actually.
That's the same shout
that was reminding me about.
People will say our different ways of meeting her. But Mrs. Remy met me in my most vulnerable state. Pregnant with Imran, almost losing the pregnancy. My first week of admission. And I pretended I was all right. And she spotted that I wasn't. And she, you know, when somebody attends to you in that state, you dare not forget her. And throughout my pregnancy, she tried and made sure that I was at home and made the hospital easy for me. She was the apex nurse at the time before she retired.
So sweet.
Happy birthday, man. God bless you
so
much. And may your children find helpers too.
Mrs. Ogini now is a Yabeji,
Grandma Ibeji, yes.
Mr. Ogini, I grew up, my parents attended CNS Church. Mr. Ogini was a member, he's a member of my parents' church, so she grew up, she knew me like I was a baby, like she watched me grow, and she's been very, very supportive. So when I found out today was her birthday, I was like, okay, we need to do this special shout out to Mrs. Ogini. She's retired as a matron. She's a family friend to my parents, very supportive, and God bless you. She said she went to the UK to take care of her grandchildren, and she has converted everybody around her to start watching your video. You must watch this. Thank you so much.
So Mrs. Ogini is my girlfriend, Dami's mother's friend.
Okay.
So reach out to me also.
And she's a serious
Mrs. Ogini. She's 63 years old today. Happy birthday to you, man. God bless you. So we are all delivered our messages from the different angles. Only you are not connected to Mrs. Ogini. All right. So how, talk any other interesting news?
Yes, my weekend was very, very tiring. Are
you settled in now?
Still not fully settled in, resolving water issues, but we thank God. I'm being very, very grateful. I watched 2 services from the comfort of my home. You know, this online church thing has helped. Like you can watch 3 different churches and you'll be very comfortable. So we watched Winners yesterday evening, and everybody in the house was just dancing, being grateful, being thankful that even the things that you think are not working, be grateful for it, because God has a reason for everything. So that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm thanking God that I don't have water. I'm thanking God for all the things that I don't have, knowing that He has a reason for it all.
This weekend, I cooked a lot this weekend. I was in the kitchen. I'm enjoying the kitchen. I'm telling you, even today, I'm doing the father stew.
But the thing is, right, you're not receiving guests because your household is enough. See, making amala for 5 people, and 6 people.
There are 10 people in my house. There are 10 people in my house.
Oh no, you know, people have the strength.
Please. Oh my goodness, 10 people.
You did it in batches or what?
Let me say my shout out to my neighbors for Christmas. So we're just sitting here the day before Christmas, and I was saying my friends were not around. And so the elders, the neighbors, say, who are you again? Are we not your friends?
Oh my God.
Thank you, Mas, for my pounded yam rice. Oh God.
She had fried rice.
I still have rice in the freezer.
Anyway, we have to run. We had a movie night last night. My entire family, we did Lord of the Rings 1, 2, 3.
Oh wow!
Like 9 hours.
But it's not good for kids. Kids could watch it.
We watch these.
We watch that. It's okay.
Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Kind of scary, but it's too. All right, let's start with the nation. COVID-19 death toll more than double in 1 month. Picture here of traders ruminate over the wares at Jakonde Plank Market in Ketu. Northern elders attack Kuka for seeking Buhari's removal. LCCR projects forex shortage to hurt businesses in 2021. Police promotion lopsided, say Igbo professionals. Obasanjo, how I was saved from Dimka's bullet. Okay, which story are we taking here in Nation? Major headline, yes.
So COVID-19 death toll, as you know, doubled in 1 month of the report. We have about 27 people struggling between the available oxygen, what's it called, inhalers, Abi, to help with the treatment in Abuja presently. We've had 74 deaths that has been recorded for 1 month as at Saturday. That's reported in Nigeria, and the new strain is reported to be faster in contacting, in killing, in getting and then killing. So according to the report, I wanted to take it holistically because now airlines are supposed to be bringing people from South Africa and the UK are going to be fined $3,500 for bringing a person whose test is not has not done the test within the required period of time. And if the airline is noticed to be, consistent in committing these particular violations, that airline might be flagged off or, totally barred from coming into the country.
Okay.
Our Women Affairs Minister has also tested positive. We have some states cancelling the crossover nights.
Right.
Lagos has sealed off certain about 12 event centers that we don't have to mention.
The COVID-19 is not even passed.
Northern elders, yes. So the Bishop of Sokoto Catholic Diocese, in his Christmas message, accused the presidency, the president of nepotism, saying that if any other non-northern president had done, wouldn't have survived doing half of what the president has done. And we've allowed mediocrity for a very long time, which is affecting every aspect of the country as we speak. But the Northern Elders Forum are accusing him or saying that he mentioned that the president should be removed undemocratically, and this is not it's irresponsible of him to say that the president should be removed undemocratically. That if anybody has an issue with how the president is handling the affairs of the country, they should go through the courts. Okay. They should take the matter up through the courts. They agreed with what he said, but just about him, according to how the papers took it. But then I think a human rights organization also spoke up and said that's exactly not what the minister, what the bishop said. He did not mention taking out the president undemocratically.
I think they are playing on words. So if he says he should be removed, of course, democratically, the House of the National Assembly has the duty to remove him. Nobody said,
let's move on.
Why does he have to go to court for
the Punch?
He's not contesting anything.
NMA submits proposal to federal government January 6 prevention training. Man kills Kwara worshipper over Christmas bangers on mosque premises. Tinubu, nobody can pay me for opinion, says Bakare. Police hold a 5-year-old Oshun man for allegedly impregnating a girl. Amoteku arrests 2 as Ekiti doctors reduce demand to 10 million. Lawyers give 9.4 billion naira bribes to judges in 3 years, and Oshomole can subvert people's will through judiciary. Please allow me to take the major headline because that really bothered me a bit. NMA, the Nigerian Medical Association of Nigeria, when being asked about the 20 doctors that recently died of COVID-19, said that they are about to send the proposal to the federal government and to the PTF to get support for training of the doctors. Now, when I heard that's exactly the civil service mentality. So you have an emergency, 20 doctors have died. Your process, they not asked you when is this training going to be. They said, oh, now we have holidays now. After the holidays, when it comes to January, we'll now write proposal for a training. I'm telling you exactly. You see, it's the civil service thinking that I'm telling you here in the papers.
Yes.
You're being asked about what to do concerning an emergency of 20 doctors have died. You're telling the reporter that you have to train in January. You need to go and send a proposal to the federal government for a proposal. Are you not empowered, first of all, to train? Those are the questions I want to know.
The president of the enemy, while responding, and he was not even in Lagos that he had to respond to that. It was, you know, like the journalist met him at a place in Jos and was interviewing him. And he responded that we are planning to send a proposal to the PTF and the Ministry of Health to come and assist in training doctors for prevention of infectious diseases while at work. That was his response. Now, this is the duty under the civil service that you brought it of the Ministry of Health, responding to the doctors who are in the forefront, the frontliners of this battle, to have even planned. NMA is
under the Ministry of Health.
NMA is
the body that is being supervised by the
NMA is the body of doctors. It's a group just like the
but they are being regulated
MBA.
now. Hear my point. Here, you can understand. I hear you, and you're very correct. They're being regulated under the Ministry of Health. Yes or no? So the point I'm trying to make is that I would prefer where an NMA says we are looking into where we are going to be training our doctors. You don't wait for us to then send a proposal in January. That was
the NMA is just an association of doctors. The Ministry of Health already should have proposed training doctors in prevention.
You people are saying the same thing. It's just bureaucratic bottleneck. That is what
slows everything down.
That was the point I to make. That bottleneck. You can actually move and then get reports.
There's another human
interest story. Yeah, this is a very painful one. So in Kwara State, they were having a particular mosque was having its prayers, I think Christmas Eve, and then this young man, Abdul Kadir, came out and was, you know, throwing knockouts and bangers. So this particular, that's Abdul, now came outside and met him and told him to leave. We're having prayers, you can't come here to disorganize what is happening. He went home, came back and stabbed him with a knife in the chest, and he was rushed to the hospital. The young man lost his life. He's just a 30-year-old man. By the time the police went to the suspect's house, the family members, everybody had run away. So there's a manhunt out for him right now. It's a very painful thing.
Right.
Let's not use this season to cause harm to other people. You're celebrating. Exactly.
There's a story that we skipped in the nation. It's Igbo professionals are saying, that's from the Ohanese Idigbo, says that the police promotion of the Police Service Commission promotion of police officers was lopsided, that Igbos don't get to occupy high position. And the Police Service Commission yesterday, senior police officers replied saying that it's not lopsided, and they gave facts that not all, because one of the issues they raised was that many of the police commissioners in the southeast are non-southeastern people. And he said only 3 states have northern police commissioners, that there are procedures for police promotion, and that it is not based on ethnicity, that they must follow, that it's every 2 years you've been in one position before you get promoted, and you must not have a pending case that you need to discuss, corruption case that you need to deal with. Also, that only the IG can subvert that process to say, I'm nominating this person for promotion, that they shouldn't bring up a case of ethnicity in promotion within the police. Everybody is being promoted accordingly.
Okay, moving on to Vanguard. North now ready for restructuring, says Ango Abdullahi. Family friends eulogize Sam and Isaiah at Set of Songs. COVID-19, Wike hints of fresh lockdown in Rivers as Sanwo-Olu shuts 12 facilities. You want to take the major headline?
Yeah, the major headline. So I want to get the name of the convener of the forum. That's the Northern Elders Forum. Ango Abdullahi has said that the North is ready to start, you know, having debates on how to move the country forward, talking about the future, and they are recommending restructuring. They are ready for restructuring now. And they also mentioned that they would prefer a parliamentary system of government, that the presidential system of government has failed us, is actually very expensive. And what we call federalism right now is not true federalism, because the federating states are not viable. So they are ready to come into talks and see how we can, you know, restructure. Afenifere picked up on that, and they were happy, saying that they are ready to you know, start the talks, that they always expected this Ango Abdullahi to you know, propose to change, to, you know, to want to change what is happening in Nigeria, and that only the people who will fight restructuring right now are those who do not, who are enemy of the country.
Okay, we have
to take the story of Amotekun. So there's controversy. Amotekun allegedly shot and killed a student in Oyo State. The statement was that there were students who went to protest and they blocked the road. Amotekun was called in to clear the blockade, and somebody shot at the Amotekun people that came to clear the road, and then Amotekun shot back into the people, and 1 student died.
Oh my God.
His name is student of Federal College of Education Special SPED in Oyo. affiliated to the University of Ibadan. Now, the colonel, a retired colonel, who is the head of Amotekun in Oyo State, said that what happened was different. Their own account was that they went to to deal with a robbery case, and that there were 3 armed robbers. 1 person was shot dead, and 2 were apprehended. That they are in their custody. Now, we've had this happen with the police, where police officers will say somebody was shot, something different. That's something different from what the people are saying. This needs to be investigated. Amotekun is still in its infancy, and we shouldn't be having cases of random killings of innocent people when the focus should be on creating and bringing peace to the society.
But do they have arms? Because we know that they're not supposed to have arms. They're just an intelligence unit. Yeah.
I don't know. I think they have.
By law.
Yeah.
I know, but they have not been given arms. Have they been given arms?
The Houses of Assembly must have empowered them
to have arms.
We've been arguing that here.
Act that created them across the southwestern states.
No, we have to review that, because I do remember doing that.
The matter was still in court between them on
they should have arms.
Until the of the Federation are taking the
even 2 weeks ago it was in the papers that they don't have arms yet.
All right, that's all we can take on front page review. When we come back, we'll discuss our hot topic for this morning. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. The behavior of many Nigerians to the law of the land is actually not encouraging. Every time we talk about how the government are not doing things right, but we don't even talk about how we are not even doing right things. For example, the same man that won't respect the traffic lights is out there demanding all sorts of change from the government. As we also go into 2021, we need to call for sober reflection on how we contributed also to the unhealthy situation that we have and found ourselves in this country. You can call us on 090, the numbers will be scrolled on. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect, please hashtag your VTVC so we can read your tweets. Right, so it's more like, as we're winding down the year and we're talking and looking at ourselves, it's like a reflection of what has happened, what have we as Nigerians done also to contribute to where we are. Yes, the government obviously have a huge stake in what has happened, our leaders that we elected. But at the same time, we must also speak to ourselves. What have we done? I mean, there was a write-up recently that went around saying that the same person that parks on the road, indiscriminately parks on the road, or the bus driver that parks to pick up passengers on the road is the same bus driver that will go and demand and say, I want change. So we also must look within and say, what are we doing? How do we begin to change our thinking? How do we begin to change the way we see? You and I mean, COVID-19 is here and we all party. I partied. All of us, we've all done things that have shown irresponsibility at some point or the other. So how can we begin to retrace our steps as we move into 2021?
I think we should always look at the man in the mirror. Before you start, trying to remove the speck in someone's eyes, you should look at your own log and try to take it out first. Now, if we pay attention to the man in the mirror, that means we all have to start holding ourselves responsible, because the truth is, we are the government that we have today. The government did not come from a different society. They came from this society. They came from the sort of parents that would see their children bring home things that they didn't give to them, and they will not question. Everybody keeps quiet. They came from the society where they don't want to take the patients to write their WAEC to pass. They go and pay for special centers. They came from, so it's everybody in one way or the other has played a role into the situation that we find ourselves. Now, there's something I always tell myself before I take an action. I will ask myself, am I contributing to the problem, or am I contributing to the solution? So before I throw my trash into the gutters to block the drainage, I ask myself, is this going to be a problem or is this a solution? Now, when we take responsibility for our actions, the truth is the change has to start with us first. If you as a person, you know that you do not cut the traffic light, you pay attention to the traffic light, you know that you do not throw out your trash while you are driving, you know that you do not pay for bribes, you wait, you follow the process. As we start doing it, I do the same thing, Nima does the same thing, Topper does the same, Moriah does the same thing. Before you know it, it becomes a culture. Now, I have been to some other African countries, and it's very unfortunate that Nigerians are just extra. The other African countries, they are calmer, and they are more well-behaved. Now, it's not about, they are more content with what they have. They don't have much. We have more than them. But you see them, they take their lives very, very easy. So I think we should go back and start asking ourselves, even as we raise our children, how can we be the change that we want to see? Let me leave it there for now.
Okay. Eva, any thoughts on this?
So, there's just so much that every individual can do, like Obiajulu mentioned, but there's a lot that the collective can do. And where we have missed is that collective. So yes, we can have one extra person, one odd person amongst us, and the collective will deal with that person. But what is missing in Nigeria today is that collective will. Down history, we were not like this. I remember reading books from I'm trying to remember my writers, the popular Igbo ones, the twins fall apart, and they described, this one from the Niger Delta, the Bendel, the writers, and they would describe how the villages, everybody comes out in the morning, sweeps, gathers the waste, and they deal with the waste, they burn it, and that's, nobody left the villages and the road paths dirty. Growing up every day, I always wonder whether this is the same Nigeria so described in the books, because if you say that I was raised in Lagos, the Lagos I knew was dirty at the time. We had proper waste collection on Western Avenue then. And I never saw where the waste was. We didn't see them on the road. In my street today, every time you find one nylon and people just walk as normal. People pass here around them as if nothing happens. Somebody throws, nobody's raising. You know how it got there? Because there was no consequence. And that person that had one single head of doing that bad thing became the glorified winner. You know that person in traffic, all of you are maintaining traffic. That person that does one way from the park. I make it off. You will ask yourself, am I stupid? And then another person goes with that person. By the time 15 people go, you'll be asking yourself, let me join them. That's how it started. Back then, in the days when the military did not have, they were not able to account for the source of the wealth that they flaunted. And everybody wondered, how will I get there? Everybody started worshipping wealth. That's how we missed it.
One of the things that I think I've learned from this, is it COVID, I would say? In recent times, globally, I realized that, in fact, even with the Trump campaign and all that happened recently, I realized that madness is not an African thing.
It's not.
That madness is across the world. Because the same way it requires for an American police to be parked at every 2-3 meters to ensure that person conforms to the law. It's the same way we need that here. So we do the law, we assume that when you travel about, they're all conforming. No, if the policemen actually leave the road, they'll be as crazy as they have been. So the point I'm trying to make is therefore that the whole thing trickles down. So I mean, I don't want to bring in government here, but it trickles down where we have that enforcement of the law that we've already. So
I wanted to land what I was describing with the traffic rule. So one person now decides in traffic that these people abusing traffic, I will block them. He comes off and blocks traffic. And if the collective agree, everybody will start questioning people that are coming, that you people will not go as long as that person is and then we'll restore sanity by ourselves if we believe in that sanity. The problem now is everybody is believing, how do we get out of this? Where nothing will happen, let's just continue in this. We are not mad people. That's our culture.
So we've sort of rewarded disobeying the law. And we made it look like if you obey the law, you're not normal. And so we've seen that cheating the system, breaking the law, gaming the system is profitable. So people now look at the ones trying to obey the rules as being stupid or being unusual.
They don't have
and
sense.
For us to change it, I think that it's heartbreaking that we have secondary school students and primary school students that they want to become politicians. That's their life ambition because they see that being a politician is where money is.
Money.
Secondary school people want to become internet fraudsters because they see that that's the money. So people now have ambition to commit crime. Like their life's goal is to go and commit crime. And for us to change that, there needs to be, and I've always said this, we don't need to have 5 agendas, 7-point agendas for this country. We just need one point agenda. We need to set a vision for this country. This is what we want to be known as. we might think that South Africa has not achieved it, but they had this goal that they wanted to be a rainbow nation that is accepted of everybody. Even if it hasn't worked out, they've consistently put that in the minds of everybody, and over time it will trickle down. So Dubai has its own vision. This is what we want to do. Saudi Arabia has come up and said, why are we behind? Why are we enclosed? Now the Crown Prince has said about 2 years ago, I want to open up this country. That's the vision. We need to have a collective vision owned by everybody, because where there is no rule, abuse will thrive, and that's what we have right now. Everybody's doing what they want to do.
This thing what I'm talking about was Queen Tara or the Queen Zara that put up all sorts of various
places where we are also as individuals are not worthy of saying the government should change. We should also be the one to change.
We are the government.
Yes,
right.
we are the government.
But you see, let me now take you back to what I mentioned earlier during the paper review concerning the enemy, and I know you. I mean, the fact that even there's so much rot in our system, and is that thinking that I'm talking about? So. NMA, you're right, is the body, is the union. They obviously don't report directly to the Ministry of Health. Understood. But understanding that the 20 of your doctors have died, we are Nigerians. Can we stop that mentality of, oh, it is them, it's their responsibility to train. I'm going to write to them, let them come to our aid. Can we speed up? Speed up first of all amongst ourselves. Okay, what are we doing? Doctors, let's gather ourselves together. Let's train this. Let's organize ourselves. Whilst we are doing that, we cannot begin to say, government, oh please, we need your support to increase. But this has to be done. So is that all? It's them, not me. Yeah, and it trickles down from top all the way to the bottom. We need to speak to each other.
Us against their mindset. Us against them mindset, and there is no them. And I think that that's what we're trying to do with this show, is to help people understand that there is no them. It is us. All of us are in this thing together. And I don't want to talk about politicians and leaders generally at all. I think the focus should start from everybody that is talking. Everybody that is talking, and we are all talking. We're talking on Twitter. Thankfully, we are also Sorosoke now. We're in the Sorosoke generation. Everybody talking should look inward at what they are doing and what we can do better. Everybody that is tweeting, everybody that is commenting, complaining, must think of how can we come together, because one person cannot do it. Nima said it, one person can't. If you come out, I've had case in Ibadan that happened very recently. Everybody was on one way, so we've now got to a point where we blocked the other side and then we couldn't move. And the man now said everybody that took one way should reverse. Makes sense. That's the right punishment that should be meted out. And now they turned the man that said they should reverse into the person they were not latched out on. So we all felt, just let them go, let them go. That doesn't solve the problem. We all must see what is wrong as wrong and what is right as right.
I'm happy that we're in the season of Sorosoke. So as we're Sorosokeing, we should sort action, we should sort of behave. Now you see this case of the enemy. When I say that the separation we think we have is what is one of the reasons we are where we are, because we do not see ourselves as one. Now, if those NMA bodies see that imagine that those medical doctors that died were their children, would they be waiting for somebody to write a report or send a report? They will move. So when you see the country as this is my country, I am patriotic, I am not an Igbo, I'm not a Yoruba, I'm a Nigerian, you will make sure that Nigeria will work, whatever it takes, and you will move. You won't wait for, let them do it, it's their jurisdiction, let them do it, it's their own, it's their time, it's not me. After all, nobody's paying me extra.
Commissioner of Health.
It's a mentality. It's a mentality that didn't just fall upon us. So to help, since we are now aware of it, to start from our homes. I usually do this with my 2 children in the house, and I hope everybody can emulate it. If something is going wrong in your house, don't say it's not me. So one can be sitting there while the other one is breaking something, and she'll be like, it's not me.
Take responsibility.
Once I come inside, you were there when your brother climbed that place. You saw him. Did you see him? Yes. You take responsibility. Once your brother is doing something, I told you were there. Did you come to tell mommy? You will take responsibility. When we force that responsibility on everybody, when they go out, they will look at the other person that was it in your presence that
from the home.
Or your and as long as you're present, the meaning is that something cannot be going. You contribute that goodness that is in you to correct.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up on this, but I think the objective of this conversation really is to remind Nigerians that listen, as the year is running out now, we have a role to play in moving this nation forward. We have an important role to play. Yes, the government have done theirs. We must ensure that we don't even replicate what they're doing. We are setting the standards ourselves and showing them that we are a changed people. So that because we are the ones that elected them, they remember.
Yes.
So they're just a reflection of who we are. So until we change, we don't get better leaders. Let's go on a break. That's all we can take. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So on this segment, we'll be reviewing 2020 legislative duties of the Senate. We'll be discussing how this sector performed during the year and the expectations of 2021. Joining us on the show now is the Deputy Leader of the Senate, Senator Ajayi Boroface. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Oh, we can't hear.
It's pretty low. I can't hear you very well, but I hope you can hear me. Oh, I can't hear you.
His mic is not good.
Okay, your mic is a bit low. Still trying to see if our viewers can hear him. Can you? Okay, let me. Sir, can you hear me? Just let me know that you can hear me. Okay, we're having some technical issues. We'll get back to him in a moment. In the meantime, I think one of the concerns this year has thrown out is the issue of local policing, you know, because we've seen how important it is at this time for us to have a decentralized police system, and especially with the NSAS protests that happen across the state, across the country.
Kidnapping, banditry.
Kidnapping and all that. So it's getting more obvious that we need a bit more concentrated security in various regions and different states. And it was important for us to have that conversation with him because I would like to know what is delaying. Many lawmakers have talked about it.
Yeah.
They've suggested it. They brought it out of the House. We thought that the conversation was ongoing and the debates had happened and there will be a proper law that was passed. But we are yet to have anything concrete. So those are some of the things we'd like to discuss with him. And what are your own thoughts on general stuff this year? What kind of questions would you like to?
For me, still within that security space, because that's a major concern for us, and especially helping to convey to the National Assembly that we have expectations concerning passing the police, decentralizing the police laws that will help decentralize the police. The Ohaneze Indigbo mentioned that they feel they are not getting promoted and all of that, and they raised the issue of CPs in the southeast that are northerners. And I know that we try to promote unity in the country, but you cannot, there is no way, if you're dealing with a village and the Commissioner of Police does not even understand the language of those villagers or understand the cultural diversity, the historical issues. You know, some communities they've historically they know their boundaries, don't pass. And then when something goes wrong, the person that understands the history is someone who is a local. So when you now have a foreign person, be the commissioner presiding on that state, the person would need to take out a few hours in the minimum to understand every crisis that happens in the locality. And we've had these issues going on around banditry, kidnapping, herdsmen crisis. These are issues that are probably easier to resolve if the policing is more localized and done by people around.
Right.
The seeming success that they've observed in the north in fighting Boko Haram has largely been due to the joint task force between the local, what do they call them? Vigilantes, helping the military. The military cannot say that they didn't need the help of the local vigilantes because those ones understand the terrain. They know how to do it.
Okay, what are the other areas that you'd like to hear from him, and what other things? Because we're still trying to get him connected. We should have the senator very soon. But in the meantime, what other things would you like to find out?
I would like to ask him what the Senate intends to do about these accusations of nepotism. The truth is, we see what is happening across the country. We see how it seems like a particular set of people are being given preferential treatments. They are being given the best of positions because of where the president is coming from. And I know that it's their responsibility to ensure that the federal character principle is adhered to in giving out of jobs and positions. So what exactly are they doing? Are they turning a blind eye to most of all these appointments that we see that people actually call nepotism? Or do they have plans to start asking the presidency certain questions and bringing him in check? Yeah. So I'll ask are they just rubber stamp, you know, or are they planning to work? They when put into those positions for them to be able to, you know, hold the government accountable, checks and balances. But we're not seeing that.
Right. Nima, what are those things you'd like? I know
Let me just be selfish, straight up. I don't see the National Assembly at all when the issues of the tank farms presence in the residential area happens. I don't hear anything from the National Assembly. The Nigerian Senate particularly don't have a stand. It's almost like all the proposals, the satellite town forum are writing, the things that on Christmas Day, 2 tankers decided to catch fire in satellite town. They burnt everything inside, and including the person's house. You know, I don't hear anything.
Right.
These people are present in a residential area until date. We don't have an active fire service station that we can see water. Where, you know,
tankers and everything. That's more localized.
Let me explain what you do.
I know it's
the waterways is a totally. You know when the senator representing Lagos East, so Lagos, what's it called? The island was pushing for special status for Lagos. People thought, you know, it was tribalistic, but we did not have anything. What they are building presently now in front of my own waterway that, you know, we're there before. Every ship in sight is birthing there. I'm even making friends with the ship workers now.
Let me tell you, I'm told our senator is back up. Good morning, sir. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, fantastic. Good to have you back. We had a bit of technical issues. So we've been talking earlier on what we'd like to hear from you. But first, I'd like you to start with, what in your own terms, what would you say the Senate has achieved this year? What are those things you'd like to let us know they've done so far before we ask you the questions that are of concern to us?
Well, thank you for having me on this program. Let me say we thank God for a good Christmas where we didn't have so many negative things happening, and I also wish all of you a happy New Year 2021.
Thank you, sir.
I must say that I've been following your discussion, and your concluding remark is that we should all work together to move this country forward. I think this is very important. The blaming each other will not work. As far as the Senate is concerned, we have tried our best. We are an arm of the government, there to cooperate with the executive and the judiciary to ensure that this country moves forward. We have all sworn the oath of allegiance to our constitution, and I think that is very important. We all need to work together. As for the Senate, at the beginning of the next assembly, we had our own legislative agenda, and we have been following the legislative agenda. We have achieved some milestones within that agenda. For instance, we have been able to reverse the budget cycle from January to December. It used to be a very disastrous calendar where you never know when the budget will start and when it will end. But within this 2 years, we have been able to normalize things and now reverse the budget cycle from January to December. And we have engaged the executive. We were not just sitting there in the Senate watching things happen. No, we have been very, very active in engaging the executive in trying to look at issues confronting us and work out a solution. Because this country belongs to all of us. We are all united in hope for a better Nigeria. We are all united in our patriotism to ensure that we build a nation where no one is oppressed. We are all united in the hope that even though tribes and tongues differ, that we're all a brotherhood. So we have achieved a lot, and we've engaged government in the area of power sector, in our agri sector, in security, which is the topic you have been talking about. We have been very, very involved with the security aspect, of mandate. And I think we have many other things we have achieved. Unfortunately, people don't give us the credit, but we are satisfied that we are serving our nation with a good conscience, and we'll continue to do that, irrespective of what people feel about us.
Right.
The problem is that the news are... Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Very clearly.
Yeah. The problem is that Nigeria are not used to the legislature, because we have always had a military regime where you have only the judiciary and the executive. So when the democratic government came in, the legislative act was introduced, so people are not used to it. Most people don't want to get about
let me go on a quick break, sir.
So,
let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we have a lot of questions for you. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We still have Ajayi Boroface with us. Yes, for the break, we had a question. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, you mentioned when you were listing the things that the House of Assembly has done, the National Assembly has done. You mentioned the agri sector, and I wanted to ask specifically, what is the oversight duty, and what would the House of National Assembly say is the achievement of their oversight on the agri sector? Maybe in terms of, can you say categorically food is cheaper, or the ease of export has been made flawless? What would the National Assembly say they have done in terms of oversight to ease the plight of agricultural investors and of Nigerians that are eating, consuming agricultural products?
Well, thank you. You know, the Senate, like the House of Representatives, have committees. And these committees are headed by chairmen who have coordinated experience in those respective areas. The Committee on Agri is being chaired by somebody who has wide experience in agri, who is also a farmer in his own right. Now, as far as the oversight function is concerned, we all agree that 2020 has been a very, very bad year, because of the COVID-19. And the budget has been very, very unstable. And so most of the things that we are supposed to have done were not done. But I can assure you that when we go on oversight functions, we are going there to look at how money allocated to various MDAs has been used in accordance with the budget outline. And of course, it is a policy, the government policy, that determines what the MDAs do. And that is why at this stage we have tried to come in to work with the executive to ensure that we have policies that will move the agri sector forward. If we are talking of diversification of the economy, we are talking mainly in moving away from the monolithic economy that depends on oil to focus on agri and solid mineral. And that is why early in the year we have organized a roundtable summit, bringing together stakeholders from the executive, having consultants to work with us to see what. Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Are you hearing me?
Very clearly.
What are the problems with the agri sector? We have had so many policies. One, we had Operation Feed the Nation. One time we have NALDA. When we have Deep Free. These are, policies that are started and halfway they are jettisoned. So there's a discontinuity in policies. There's discontinuity in implementation of the programs. So we have identified this. There is no linkage between the research institutes and the farms, those in the farm. So we have looked at all this, and we have come up with some recommendations which are going to be laid before Senate. We are going to discuss it and make appropriate recommendation to the executive for implementation. Well, I can assure you, we are ready to work for Nigerians to make sure that through agricultural sector we create employment, we generate revenue both through export.
All right,
So,
thank you, sir. We've heard this before. But let Nima jump in here for a second.
I don't know whether the National Assembly, Nigerian Senate particularly, are aware of the issues of Satellite Town. Satellite Town is a community in Lagos, under the Lagos West Senatorial District, and I wonder at all if you people discuss the issues on the waterways, the tank farms, over, too many to mention, in that community that was originally a residential community created by law. And presently, further commercialization happening to the communities, other environs bordering around Satellite Town, container terminals, and all of those activities happening around people that you're supposed to make laws to protect. We had a fire on Christmas Day, and it brought to mind again the lack of an operating fire station within that community, and we have inflammables and large vehicle activity around that area. Presently, I am aware that it's a sort of the congesting of Apapa Port that is happening because we are now licensing bonded terminals and using the waterways in Satellite Town to operate in Ijegun, Egba, Abule Osun, Irede Road, and all of that. What is the stand of the National Assembly, if you've ever heard of it, What is the stand? What were the resolutions made on the floor of the House about, you know, those activities?
Well, let me start by saying what happened in Satellite Town is very unfortunate. It shouldn't have happened at all. But you know, the Senate, as you see, is a legislative arm of government. We do not have power of enforcement on local laws, on state laws. And so if this is brought to our attention, it will be debated, and appropriate recommendations will be made to the authority, whether it is the Ministry of Environment or the Ministry of Housing or state government itself or to federal government. But I want to tell you that we have not heard about it officially on the floor of Senate. You know, we are on vacation now. We in fact extended the session to be able to conclude the budget, the 2021 budget. And after approving the budget, we are on vacation.
Okay, so
this issue has not come.
Locally,
up to Senate.
Locally, sir, we've done more than enough to, to inform the Lagos state government and the ministries of energy and, a lot of the environment, those that regulate activities in that area. But we found out that, and recently, this 2020, the Satellite Town Forum went to the House of Reps with these issues. So, and what they've said is that the waterways and the licensing of operation of tank farms and terminals is done by the federal government. So it will mean that Lagos states, they only regulate their activities, they cannot license their presence. So their hands are tied and we have to resolve to the National Assembly. So I'm surprised that the Honorable Adiola Olamileko representing Lagos West has not mentioned this on the National Senate.
Well, I don't want to blame Olamileko for not mentioning it. It's the Chairman Committee on Finance, and the committee has been very, very busy in the last 2 months, working on the budget, working on the finance bill. But the issue you raised is of concern to many of us. I was on the Navy Committee, and we went to Apapa on oversight, and we could see these tank farms scattered all over the place, in residential areas. It is not safe. And when we came back and we submitted our report, we submitted our report to the Navy to say something has to be done, and all those who are involved in locating those tank farms should do something to relocate them. Because if there's any explosion, it's going to lead to a disaster, the magnitude of which we cannot imagine. So this is how far we can do.
Okay,
Let me
after
that report, I don't think anything has been done. Because it's not within the power of Senate to relocate tank farms.
Okay,
or
all right. I have to go on a break, sir.
Yeah.
I really have to go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So for the break, you have a question. Go ahead,
yes,
please.
Senator Ajayi. There's been a growing call for restructuring. Everybody is talking about it. And the fact that it seems like the 1999 Constitution, which we're still using, has outlived its usefulness and people want a change. Now, what's the position of the Senate concerning restructuring and the fact that we need a constitutional review right now?
Well, thank you. We started post-independence as a federalism. And in this case, the regions had their autonomy to a great extent. But when the military came, they introduced a unitary government. And the constitution which they gave us reflected that policy, that principle. It is obvious to many Nigerians that we need to look into the constitution, look into the structure of the country, and do what is needful. Restructuring is okay if it's in the interest of the people, if it's in the interest of the country as a whole, if it will move Nigeria forward. There's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anybody opposed to restructuring. The issue of constitutional review, of course, we are conscious of our role as a legislature in reviewing the constitution to meet the changing the dynamics of the political situation in the country. And every nation that has had constitution do review, they have amendment. If you look at the American Constitution, you have the Third Amendment, Second Amendment, Fifth Amendment. So we are trying to, I'm a member of the Constitutional Review Committee of Senate, and we are looking at the report of the convention, of the conference organized under Jonathan. We are looking at the report written by El-Rufai on restructuring. We are receiving memoranda from the public and also from within. We are going to look at all this. We have, involved consultants that are knowledgeable in the area of, bills and, constitutional, matters.
Senator,
and we're going to come up. We're going to come up with a report that will be, make Nigerians happy.
All right, Senator Boroface.
Come on, I can hear.
Senator Boroface, let me just tell you what.
Hello?
I'm quite concerned, sir, Senator, and I worry as a Nigerian that it seems like our Senate and House of and National Assembly have no spine, and this is why I say so, because we see you've been discussing, having meetings, conversations. It's like we're not seeing anything tangible from the National Assembly. You summoned the president after the killing in Borno. He didn't show up. He said, oh, he's not constitutionally required to. Secondly, many people called for the sacking of service chiefs, that the Senate should come and summon the president or even the service chiefs. We didn't see that happen. Someone even called for impeachment of the president. He didn't show up. Nothing is being done within the National Assembly. Nigerians feel that this arm of government is spineless. That the kind of democracy we have in this country is not worthy of being a democracy, because all we see our lawmakers do, have meetings. We are going to say, we'll discuss, we'll agree, we'll talk with their foundation, we'll report, and we'll submit, and we'll get back to Nigerians. It will be like they are assuring us. Nothing has been done, sir. So assure me as a Nigerian that you're my lawmaker and you're doing something, and that hallmark characteristic of a democracy, which is the independence of the legislature, is actually working for me.
And give us a time frame.
Well, thank you. I think the word spineless is very uncomplimentary to start with, because we are not spineless. We work in accordance with the Constitution. We swore to an oath of allegiance to the Constitution of Nigeria. So when you people are outside, you make statements without really understanding the principle and the philosophy that governs those things. You are entitled to your own opinion, but we know what is right, what this nation needs. We don't want to turn this into chaos. You see that people enjoy when there's crisis, when we are throwing shares around in the National Assembly. That is what people think is progress. No. We have our own, we are stretching democracy to the limits of its tolerance. And if we do that, we're going to have anarchy. So we have to be very careful what we ask for. The issue we are raised, whether the impeachment is a constitutional issue, it has a procedure. And somebody can just jump up on the floor of House of Representatives and say, we want to impeach the governor. What has it done? What is the procedure?
Okay.
Let me make my case. What is the procedure laid down in the Constitution as for impeachment? You're talking of service chief. Service chief is at the prerogative of the governor, of the president. He knows what he's looking for. He knows what service they are rendering. It's not for you outside to think that service chief is good or bad. So I think we have to be very careful the way we are driving the narration of all these things in the country, so that we don't set the country on fire.
Okay, we really want peace. Honestly, at the end of the day, if anybody can speak concerning the importance of peace, Mariah and I can speak concerning why peace is very important, because we've experienced real life, as well as many other Nigerians that don't have security escort details and police that is guarding them, how a destabilized country can impact our lives. So when it comes to peace, we all move for peace. I speak for peace. However, it makes us feel bad. It is weakening to hear the legislators say they've recommended and that they cannot do more. Because based on my own understanding of civic studies that I did, because I'm not a political science student, I'm a science student. And what I knew is that, what I learned is that the legislature is very powerful. You can stop budgets from being passed.
Yes.
You can stop funds from being released to ministries that are not conforming.
Yes.
Your oversight duty is powerful on the president as well as any ministry.
Yes.
So when I talk to senators and they say, we only do oversight, I feel bad bad as the Nigerians are. So what exactly, you are making laws and doing oversight, what exactly can be done? How can you make us feel that?
Yes.
What are we paying you for?
So please, sir.
Let me come in. Let me come in here. As I told you, we are the legislative arm of government. We are working hand in hand with the executive. There are procedures for doing things. Talk of security. We do not leave the issue of security to government. We have had engagement with the service chiefs. We have had engagement with police. And we have set up a committee to look into the issue of security. We came out with 60 recommendations. One of them is the decentralization of the control and command of the police structure in the country. And that has been adopted by the Mr. President. You can see that the decentralization of the police structure in the country now. There are other recommendations like funding, training, which we have looked into. As I said, we may even pass resolutions, we may come up with a decision. It is the executive that implements. And I can tell you that the president we have is a very responsible one, and it has listening ears, and is ready to work with us and to do what is right for the country. Look at the ESA. When ESA started, they made 5 demands, and all the demands were approved by Mr. President. It shows that this is a man at one piece. So we are working hand in hand with the executive.
All right, we'll take your word for it.
We are ready to carry out our oversight function as laid down in the Constitution.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. We'll take your we'll end here. We'll take your word for it. We'll be speaking with the Senator Ajayi Boroface. He's been talking to us on the various resolutions of the National Assembly, and I hope Nigerians are convinced by what our guests have told us this morning. Let's take a bit tweet vote as we run up. BC.
Natadi Adakbo says, thank you, Boroface, for asking the Senator the pertinent questions. Others have been trying to be politically correct. Ogumola Emmanuel says, leadership by example is the way to enforce laws and regulations. Here in the UAE, when police breaks a traffic rule, is not an emergency response duty, it gets fined. In Nigeria, the very people setting regulations are the first to break them. Don't blame the average Nigerian. Okay, we have to wrap up. Thank you very much, ladies. Happy holidays. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.